Hello friends, today we are going to discuss regarding treatment of mitral stenosis. So, the goal of treatment in a patient with mitral stenosis is to reduce symptoms and to prevent complications in the form of atrial fibrillation and pulmonary embolism. So, now we will go through some of the lifestyle modifications that are needed in a patient with mitral stenosis. Number 1, activity restriction. Avoid exertion as it may prevent increase in heart rate and increase in LA pressure. Then avoid excess salt intake and diuretic. It will reduce pulmonary congestion by reducing preload. Now we will go through medical stabilization by pharmacological treatment. Number 1, diuretics. So the goal of diuretic therapy is to reduce pulmonary and systemic congestion by decreasing preload. Commonly used diuretic may include furosemide 20 to 40 mg OD or torsemide 10 to 20 mg OD. Whenever we start patient on diuretic, we need to monitor electrolytes and renal functions. Second, calcium channel blocker and beta blockers. They are mainly used to decrease the heart rate, as reduction in heart rate will lead to prolonged diastolic filling time, which will decrease LA pressure and improve symptoms. Beta blockers that can be used, it may include metoprolol 25 to 50 mg BD. So patients who are not able to tolerate beta blocker, they can be put on non-dihydropyridine calcium channel blocker, that is diltiazem or verapamil. Third, anticoagulation. Now we will go through indications of anticoagulation therapy in our patients with mitral stenosis. Number 1, in patients who have prior atrial fibrillation. Number 2, previous history of embolization in the form of stroke or TIA. Number 3, LA thrombus. Number 4, spontaneous echo contrast. Number 5, enlarged LA. Diameter of LA is more than 5.0. We have to start warfarin in such patients. It is a drug of choice and we have to maintain INR between 2 to 3 whenever we start a patient on warfarin. Then secondary rheumatic prophylaxis. Secondary rheumatic prophylaxis is given to prevent recurrent streptococcal infection, as it will lead to further valvular damage. We can either give benzathine penicillin 1.2 million unit IM every 3 to 4 weeks, or patient who are not able to tolerate benzathine penicillin, then we can go for tablet penicillin V 250 mg BD. Now we will go through duration of secondary prophylaxis. So number 1, a patient who has rheumatic heart disease but no carditis and no valvular heart disease, then we have to give secondary prophylaxis for 5 years after the last episode or 21 years of age, whichever is longer. Second, if a patient has rheumatic heart disease and carditis, but no persistent valvular heart damage, then we have to give secondary prophylaxis for 10 years or 21 year, whichever is longer. And if third, if patient has rheumatic heart disease along with carditis and persistent valvular heart damage, then we have to give secondary rheumatic prophylaxis for 10 years or up to 40 years of age, or sometimes even lifelong. Patients who undergo mitral valve replacement, in, in that scenario, we have to give it lifetime. Now, we will go through the role of intervention in a patient with mitral stenosis. So, the purpose of interventional management is to relieve obstruction, thereby increasing mitral valve area. Interventions may include: number one, percutaneous balloon valvotomy. So, percutaneous balloon valvotomy is preferred in suitable cases. Indications of percutaneous valvotomy may be as follows: severe mitral stenosis with pliable valves and non-calcified valves. Number two, no LA thrombus. Number three, no MR. So here in percutaneous balloon valvotomy, there is a balloon that splits the commissure, thereby increasing the area of the valve. Second, open commissurotomy. So open commissurotomy is preferred in cases who are unsuitable for percutaneous balloon valvotomy and patient have pliable valves. Here directly commissures are opened, thereby increasing the mitral valve area. Second, mitral valve replacement. Mitral valve replacement are preferred in cases when the valves are thickened, sclerosed, calcified and distorted. We can either go for mechanical valve or prosthetic valve depending on the patient profile. Then we have to treat complications of mitral stenosis. For example, atrial fibrillation, where we have to control either rate or rhythm and give anticoagulation to patient. Second, pulmonary hypertension. So we have to treat underlying MS, and valvotomy may also improve pulmonary hypertension. Third, right heart failure. So we can go for diuretics and treatment of underlying MS that may improve symptoms. Thank you.